I'm Jeffrey Wilson. Are you struggling to find an internship? You just somehow can't nail that interview? Don't know how to get your foot in the door? You're lost, you don't know where to look, you have no clue what you're doing, you're just trying to find guidance and find that path? Well, look no further because this is Intern TV!
Hey.
Thank you. I'm your co-host, Jeffrey Wilson. My other wonderful co-host, Matthew Edward Abraham Dopp. My other wonderful co-host in that beautiful yellow shirt, Andrew Golden. And
I love you guys.
Hey, I love you. Thank you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love our
Thank you for
fans.
coming out and joining us for another episode of Intern TV. Today we have a very special guest. Only our second that's not sport management. Don't worry, we are all about change here on this show. We have political science major. Big time. We haven't had one of those yet. This is going to be our first one. Let's welcome our special guest all the way from the great state of Delaware, Kyle Coburn.
Welcome.
Hey, good to see you.
Kyle, great to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for
having
having me.
Boys are
Well,
buzzing
let's start with
today.
a
Boys are
simple
buzzing.
question. How we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Can't complain. It's a
Beautiful.
beautiful day out.
It is.
Just happy to be here. Happy to be
Always.
here.
Could be a better day. It's not
Could be a better
beautiful.
day, but it's fine. So,
Well,
tell me a little bit about your internships and your experience that you have in the political science field.
So, as you said, in political science, I'm a senior this year. Last semester, I was blessed with this great internship with the Borgen Project. It's a nonprofit that is actually based in Seattle, which was an amazing thing about it because everything was done online. You were very remote. Wherever you were at, you can work with the Borgen Project because their main goal was just to spread awareness, mobilize people to fight for their cause, and for you to get out and kind of lobby for them with your congressional leaders, your senators, and things like that. And the reason why I said it was a great cause is because they fight for people in extreme poverty.
No, wonderful. That's one.
That's
wonderful.
good.
That's big. That's big. That's what you need in this world. So let
Exactly.
me ask you this question going off of that. How did you go about acquiring this internship and even finding out about it?
Well, last spring I took a semester off of school. Actually,
Okay.
I just worked at a local pizzeria in my town, and I really kind of dug into the whole internship search. So I just searched
that.
online, like Indeed, LinkedIn, just kind of looked in the Google search bar of political science internships.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of searching, a lot of applying to multiple different internships. And then I found this one that I was really passionate about. So I tried to put my best foot forward on all the interviews that I had with them, and it ended up working out great.
Wonderful.
How many interviews did you have?
I had two. I had one over the
So-
phone and then one over Skype.
Oh,
Okay.
So how was the process of those interviews? Was there a lot of rejection, or was it kind of the Borgen one was a hit?
The Borgen one's actually the only one that got back to me, which
hey,
Which
you only
one?
need one.
You only need
You
one.
only need one.
which was crazy because when they ended up offering me the internship, they told me that they only accept 3% of their applicants.
Okay.
So
Wow. Hey.
for a really strict application process,
Yeah.
they were the only ones that actually offered me a spot.
Hey, you know what that means? You're better than 97% of people.
It is.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
what that
that
means.
is proud.
That's what that means. Hey, that means that they really like Newman too.
Yeah.
That is.
Little
So
plug for the university.
with this, So with this internship, how has it crafted your personality, like since the days you were at the pizza shop to now, where you're interning with the Borgen Project? How have you seen your personality change throughout that process?
A lot, actually. Like most Americans in general, they are really just focused on themselves and just reading and learning about things that are happening, not just in our country, but other countries as well. It really opened my eyes to just a broader world view of, hey, like there's more people to help than just myself. It really kind of opened me up physically and spiritually to the point where I ended up enrolling in RCIA because I realized that there is something bigger in the world that we really need to invest in.
For those people that may not know, could you tell us what the RCIA is?
It's a program where young adults like myself are trying to convert or confirm themselves in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Solid.
Big. It's big.
I like that.
It is.
I'm confirmed.
So am I.
So your name, what's your middle name?
Michael.
What was yours?
Mine's Ryan.
Mine's Edward Abraham.
Mine's Joseph.
Oh, are we supposed to give both of our middle names or just
Well,
the one
I
that-
accidentally said my birth name, but
Oh.
then
Just
I
your
remembered
confirmation
my
name.
name.
Okay,
Yeah,
hey,
confirmation name.
Let's get back on top.
So-
Let's get back on top. Okay. So, further down the line here we are. You've since completed that internship, correct?
I have, yes.
Yes. So, what is your new experience that you're doing now?
Well, because of this internship, it opened a lot of doors because I was going to meetings with my congressional leaders and having even phone interviews with with the staff members on my senator team. So I ended up getting a meeting with Congresswoman Blunt Rochester's office with their grants and projects director, Tyrone Jones, who's an amazing individual. And I talked to him for about like 30 minutes about the Borgen Project and how federal funding for the foreign aid budget would actually help Delaware, because a lot of people don't know we have a huge employer of the Wilmington port. So if we could help build up other countries and have more exports from Delaware, it would create more jobs, more money for infrastructure, things like that. And the whole meeting went really well, to the point where when I left, he told me if I was looking for another internship in the spring, that I should apply for theirs. So I ended up applying, cover letter, name dropped him, obviously.
Yeah.
And now I am currently working in Congresswoman Blunt Rochester's office in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wow.
Hey, it's amazing.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I think that just shows the power of relationships, the power of networking.
Connections.
So here we are now. You're in this new role. Going back to the Borgen Project, are you still like in touch with all of those leaders and talk to them, ask for their advice, ask them to help you lead you down this new path that you're finding?
Absolutely. At the end of my internship, they offered me a regional director role with them, but I ended up having to decline because I didn't want to do both these internships
Right.
and obviously do bad in one or the other.
Yeah.
But after I told them that I wouldn't be able to accept the regional director role, I asked them if I could try to build a bigger bridge with them and the Newman University, because I got a really good reception from everyone at Newman, like the campus ministry and Sister Marguerite, people like that who really liked what I was doing. So I got my manager's boss's name and information and gave it to career and personal development and even campus ministry to try to promote more of their volunteer opportunities and their internships, because even though I'm a political science major, they have a lot of things for like English majors and people that are interested in like journalism and things like that, where you can write for them. Because even my internship, I had to write an opinion piece to an article, which actually did get published in Delaware Online, which was nice. So they do a lot of different things where it's not just lobbying and political science, where you can just write about what's happening overseas and people in extreme poverty, like the people dying, and why should we really be looking on a broader world scale than just ourselves.
So to me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Sounds like a very Franciscan project, something that definitely is very in line with the Rises values here at Newman. So have you been able to translate those Rises values into the Borgen Project and even what you're doing now, and in a similar way translate what you're doing now back into the Rises values?
Absolutely. I actually, we'd have to post every once in a while for the Borgen Project. I actually made a sign with the Borgen Project. One of their slogans is, we all do better when we all do better. And I took it in the multipurpose room underneath Rises, because like you said, it is a very Franciscan Franciscan organization, and it aligns with a lot of our values, which is why like campus ministry, Sister Marguerite, even some of my professors were really intrigued on what I was doing for them. So being able to incorporate what I learned in the Borgen Project to what I'm doing now, and just like the Rises values, what I'm doing now as well, it kind of all interchanges with each other, because in my mind, if you're going to get into politics, you should do it for a good reason. And having those values kind of shape me and make sure that I'm doing things to not just better myself, but better other people that don't have a voice, is something that I'm really interested in something that I feel like Newman really tries to
Yeah.
show other people as well.
If we could bold, underline, and italicize getting into politics for a good reason, let's do that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That's great reasoning.
I like
Great
that.
reasoning.
So, something you talked about was from your first internship, you had to do multiple interviews. A question we get a lot is people are afraid to go into interviews. They don't know what kind of questions they'll get. They don't know how they should prepare for it. So what are some of the things you did to prepare for a phone interview, prepare for a Skype interview, and then eventually in person? Like how do you go about that and getting ready for an interview?
You're not gonna like this answer. I actually didn't prepare at all.
Hey.
Hey.
Caught it.
Yeah,
Got it.
but a good way to, I guess, prepare would be talking to like your support system, asking them how they obviously got jobs. Even if you have like a small time job, like I do at a pizzeria, like talk to your manager and be like, hey, what are some questions that you might ask somebody, and things like that. But questions I get in interviews now for like actual jobs and internships with the Oregon Project and my congresswoman were things like, why should we hire you, or what separates you from other people? And it always feels weird talking about yourself, but you should really find that one niche on why you really are different. And even though you're like, oh, I don't know, deep down, like you really do know. Like mine is I'm able to kind of form myself into any situation and be able to talk to people very easily. And even though I might not have the best GPA or like the best credentials as someone else might have, but I can talk to pretty much anyone or anything at any time. Like my parents always told me that if a wall could talk back to me, I would never leave my room. So
That's a new one. I never heard that.
Good
I like
line,
that.
yeah.
but
That's a good one.
you just need to find one thing that really separates you from the pack, whether that be being able to speak in public places or having really good analytical skills where you can pick out what's wrong in like paragraphs or data entry, things like that. You need to find one niche and really sell yourself on one thing. You don't need multiple things. And I feel like that's what a lot of people get nervous about. Like, oh, I got to talk myself up so much. I just find one thing, and that's usually what I do.
So finding that one thing is good, obviously. But then do you feel that you need to be able to have a story that you can kind of staple with that?
Absolutely. My big thing I've been speaking about with internships for work, because I've been doing a lot of things with advocacy and going into cities and talking about certain type of policies that a certain organization wants to get passed. And mine was, from a military family. I moved around a lot. I was born in Virginia, lived in New York, lived in Puerto Rico, then moved to Delaware.
Yeah.
And I had to learn at a very young age that, hey, I'm not going to know these people for very long, like 2 years max.
Yeah.
So being able just to like talk to pretty much anybody is kind of like the story that I give with that, to show that, like, yeah, I can actually do this. I can submit myself in any type of environment or cultural background.
So sticking to the interview process, is there one question that you've noticed that you get asked frequently during an interview that just like stumps you? You don't know how to answer it?
That one right there.
Hey,
Yeah.
congratulations, Mr. Stumper.
Yeah.
That's what we
no.
do. We put him in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And the bright lights are on. Can he perform?
There definitely is one. I can't remember at the top of my head, but there has been some where like they ask me and I just tell them truthfully. I'm just like, honestly, like I don't know. I don't want to give you a wrong, I don't want to tell you something that isn't accurate to what I can actually do. And a lot of employers, like, because I've had 3 different interviews for jobs, and a lot of them have been over Skype because they're in different regions of the country. When you tell someone and you're just like, I don't know, and I don't want to give you a wrong answer because of this reason, they kind of look at you like, wow, like did not expect that
I
answer.
don't
I expected
hear that
someone,
very often. Yeah.
expected someone just to make something up. But you should be truthful just to the point where, because you don't want to get that position to be like, oh, well, you said you can do this, you really can't. So
Hey, you know who was always honest? Abraham Lincoln.
Abe
I was going to say
Lincoln.
that, but I didn't want to be wrong.
honest Abe.
Politician.
Absolutely.
Politician. That's true. That's
Yes.
good facts by you. So, don't know if you've seen the show or not, but we do this little something called Quick Six. So I'm gonna need you to stand up. I'm gonna stand up. We're gonna switch seats.
There we go.
You're gonna hop into the even hotter seat. Because I warmed up with my charming good looks. Anyway,
Allegedly.
Hey, stop it.
Sorry.
So we're gonna fire off 2 questions, 2 questions, 2 questions, but it's gonna be like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Alright.
Got it? All right, ready?
I think that's it.
3, 2, 1, go.
If you had to choose what kind of lawn you had, would you get Kentucky bluegrass or Pennsylvania
Bluegrass.
greengrass?
He didn't even let you finish. That's how
Wow.
he knew.
I
If
would've
you
taken
had to lose one finger, which finger and off which hand?
Ring finger on my right.
Fair.
Who's your favorite president?
FDR.
You're just stumping left and right.
Big time.
If you can get 2 fruits and make them 1 fruit, what would it be called?
Oh,
Grape and an apple or grapple.
I'm gonna
solid.
piggyback off that. If you had to combine 2 animals to make it into one animal, which would it be?
I've seen this on like Twitter. It's like a hippo and a bee. I just think it's funny because they're just so different in size.
A little beepo.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a Sprite or a 7-Up?
Aren't they the same?
No.
Answer the question, please. we ask the questions, you answer, all right? This is how it goes.
Probably.
There you go.
Fair, it's fair.
Solid.
Hey,
Hey.
great job. Great job. We're gonna need my seat back. Gonna need the seat. Thank you.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
fun fact, that's the first guest to shake my hand. As I
Yeah, I know. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
noticed
Not
that
to
too.
play favorites or anything.
Hey,
it's
one
Because he's a
last
I really
politician.
enjoyed it. One last question.
Oh.
What year are you running for office?
Honestly, once Delaware hits 1 million people in population, because that's when we get our second congressional seat.
Nice.
Boom.
There you have it.
So-
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
there you have it. That was the best answer we've heard. Kyle, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on the show with us.
Don't do that again. It made me uncomfortable.
Hey, stop. Okay, we got to close out the show
Sorry.
here. Andrew, thank you for being
welcome.
wonderful as always. Matthew, thank you for being wonderful as always. To our audience, we love you dearly. It's been a great show. Thank you. Live from Aston, Pennsylvania. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're watching this.